Welcome to the Success Funnel Podcast. My name's Pat Hammond.
I'm Lisa Jackson.
And we are the co-founders of the Business Guild and your host for the Success Funnel Podcast. What are we talking about this week, Lisa?
Today, we're talking about the editorial content calendar.
Woohoo! That's a good one. So let me ask you this. Why does someone need a content calendar?
Every business owner needs to attract clients. So the why is whatever is important to that business owner. Are they looking to generate leads? Are they trying to increase their thought leadership into the public? Are they trying to get attendance to an upcoming event or sale? It could be any reason.
So basically, it really depends on what your marketing or sales goals happen to be at the time.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay, so once you have this general understanding of why you need the calendar, what is the benefit of the calendar? What's the whole purpose behind it?
It's really to help you keep a focus on your clientele and pull them in and let them get to know you. The more you communicate and put content out there, you want to keep creating content for your clients, for your audience.
So how does the calendar help you do that?
Keeps your thoughts organized. So you don't become terrified and realize at the end of a month that you don't have content to put out there into the public space. It's all about planning.
Okay, so basically then, obviously the business owner is an expert in their industry, theoretically, because we know that's not always true, but theoretically you should be an expert in your industry. And they're busy going out there, getting work done for clients or getting paid. And oh, darn, I haven't posted a blog post in 6 months, or I haven't done a newsletter or social media. Do I need to do that? And this will keep them on track.
Yes. Well, hopefully. It all depends on, like for us, for our business, we do all sorts of content, and content doesn't have to be written. We don't want to scare business owners away. It doesn't have to be written content. It doesn't have to be a long form, 6-page thought leadership paper. Depends on where your client is. You could just be trying to make Instagram posts or Facebook posts, or you could be doing audio or video. The content could be anything that's relevant to your audience. So we don't want people to panic right away, but having a plan of everybody's calendar is different. Some people, the business rotates a lot, more increase around holiday time. So they want to have more specials, more contact with their audience around the holidays. Sometimes there's something in the middle of the summer, depends on your business. So you want to having a calendar and planning content different times ahead of time. So when the months approach, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. And just to make one little point here, that it doesn't have to be to tell you when to make content. For example, if you are someone who wants to sit down one day a month and just build out all your little pictures for Instagram or Facebook, you do that and then you plop it in the calendar of what day you want to schedule them to go out. So that when you put them into Hootsuite or one of the platforms to automatically go out, you have a good idea what's going on what day, so that you can be sure to follow up with people when they start pinging you with and the shares and things. So basically, how do you do this? How do you actually make the calendar?
It can be done many ways. It could be with a simple piece of paper and just making a list of the content and then sorting it by what you know is coming up for your business. I think the best approach is to have a 12-month paper, or if people are used to doing Google Docs or something, just having that visual of all 12 months right in front of you at one time, and then starting to come up with your ideas and filling it in one little block at a time, 1 month at a time.
Just to add here that if you are a team like we are, it does need to be something you can share. Each of us keeping our own calendar just doesn't work. No, not at all. Not at all. So now that you know, like how you do it, what goes into actually doing this? I mean, it's easy to say, well, I can keep a calendar, but what are the nuts and bolts of it? I mean, how do you set it up? What kind of things should you be thinking about?
I'm hoping this answers the question. Thinking you want to think about the date when you want to publish it. So you're focusing on a month. You want to have a topic. You could have a theme for a month or for a quarter. You also want to start noodling on, I like the word noodling on headlines or keywords that will attract your client at the right time. And then those are the two big things, really. You want to keep track of the status. I mean, once you make a list, you want to keep track of where it is. Is it still an idea, or have you actually started formatting it out into titles and actual publication information?
Yeah, I think when you do this, what happens is that it really helps you clarify things. Lisa mentioned keywords, and keywords are big because not only is it SEO oriented, but it helps you refine down what you're putting out there. And make sure that you're really hitting that target that you want to hit and not just rambling on and on, as we've all seen some blog posts do. We're not guilty.
No. No, we can edit each other's work, make sure we don't fall into that.
Oh, I didn't know I could edit you. Okay, we got it on tape.
Yeah,
I can edit Lisa. She doesn't need editing. So what kind of tools would you recommend to somebody? I mean, basic levels. Obviously, if it's just one person, you're saying just use a paper calendar.
Paper calendar or Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheet, whatever is most comfortable. Yeah.
And if it's a team,
definitely, like you said, something shareable, and Google Sheets come to mind because it's just so easy and it's right there. But there's other tools that could be a whole other podcast. It's just the tools that you can use to share. I mean, seriously, I don't know them all myself.
No, there's just too many. There's too many.
Yeah.
It really depends on what your needs are. I mean, even us, when we started looking for online products for sharing, we went through, I don't know how many before we actually came down to the final 5. And then we just kind of had to use them to whittle them down. But with calendars, we stick to Google. You can't mess with perfection. It's easy, it's shareable. You can view it from any device, so there's no excuses. You can look at it on your phone, your tablet, your Chromebook, your laptop.
Yep, and you can put you can schedule the posts into the Google Calendar and then share the calendar, so we each know what's coming up, what has to be published when, and then
assuming I read it. Yeah. So anything else people need to know about calendars?
Calendars, they're flexible.
Are they?
You can plan something and then something else comes up, like, well, we won't, the year that we won't speak of. You could have you could have had your content planned out for 2020 and then bam, situation, life changed big time. So you might want to reschedule things, and with a calendar you can do that. Just move things around. So calendars are flexible. They're not written in stone. Once you write them, they're not in stone. So except for
at the Guild, because we do plan out a year ahead on Flackery, and there's not a lot of wiggle room. But yeah, that's really different. That's not really the average person's use case. We hope.
Magazine planning is different than general content planning. Yes.
Yeah.
But the calendars are based in the same kind of format. Just yes.
So just to reiterate on this, that people need the calendar to stay organized and get a better idea of what they're planning, and to make sure that they're staying on task as far as what their end goal is for sales or marketing or thought leadership. Yeah.
They're trying to generate leads. They want to put out the right information ahead of time so they can start getting the sales in, and driving, especially if you're having events. You want to drive attendance, so you got to start early and then be tracking that. Yeah,
and that is a topic for another day, because the information is all over the place on that one. Mm-hmm. And as far as actually doing it, it's super simple. Paper calendar for a solo, or you can do Google Calendar or one of the paid, programs out there for collaborating with people. And there's not what you call a learning curve on this. I mean, pretty much anybody who's planning on building content should be able to just fill in, a title and a calendar.
At least have an idea of what they want to talk about with their audience.
Which, yeah, I mean, we probably should touch on that you should have like a tickler file, just like you have a tickler file for leads. You should have one for story ideas or content ideas, because you always have these awesome ideas and 6 months later, you can't remember them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Not pointing fingers at myself, but
Oh, me either. No.
yeah. Anything else people need to know about the calendars?
Well, like I mentioned, it doesn't all have to be written. It can be any kind of content. And you had mentioned Hootsuite. That could be a whole other follow-up conversation too about how to schedule content.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be online at some horrible like 2 a.m. on a certain day to publish something. You can schedule, and scheduling things in advance is really nice.
Yes.
You can go on vacation and know content is still going to be going out there.
That and it's just so much easier, especially if you're a really, really small business where you have like just yourself and 1 or 2 employees, that if you do take that one day a month or one day a quarter to just put together all your content, if you can schedule it that same day, you don't even have to look at it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we got for content calendars. They're super useful. They're incredibly easy, and they will bring you the biggest bang for your buck, especially if you do it for free.
Yes, yes. And they could be just once a month. You could be publishing content once a month. It's totally flexible based on what the owner wants to do. So
Yeah.
that's nice too.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is a wrap for this edition of the Success Funnel Podcast. Don't forget to check out the latest issue of Flackery Magazine, and you can find that at flackerymag.com. This is the branding issue, so be sure to check it out, because we've got some fantastic articles and resources to help you develop and manage your company's brand. And if you'd like more information about the Business Guild, you can find us at thebizguild.com.